लोग मेरे को लिखते हैं there is so much going on in the country, why aren't you commenting on it? नीति पाल्टा डर गई. हाँ. Fans are like, don't worry ma'am, आप बोलो, we are standing right behind you. I'd feel better if you were standing in front of me.
Comedy was like, वो बचपन से my dad has a great sense of humor. वो बचपन में नोक झोंक वो सब था घर पे. The Colin Mockery and Brad Sherwood came to India for the first time. I was volunteering for a round and I did this sound effects. तो उसमें मैं मस्ती करने लग गई and I had such a ball that Colin Mockery told me you should try stand up. उस टाइम पे तो मुझे पता भी नहीं था इंडिया में होती है stand up and all. I didn't believe that my gender would have would be a stumbling block, but it was. Inevitably, male comics used to be told, "Oh, you were really funny," and I used to be told, "You were really bold." I'm like, funny थी यार, ये bold क्या होता है?
Hello everyone, Jaskiran here with Neeti Palta, the almost sanskari and very cheeky girl.
Hello.
Firebrand in stand-up comic when it comes to women stand-up comics, and you know she's one of the trailblazers. One of, I think you started, you must be the first one 10 years back to start
13.
off on the official stand-up circuit.
13.
And the tour is called Ulta Palta, and it reminds me of Jaspal Bharti's
Ulta Pulta.
And so here she is, and we are going to talk to her about her show, which is Bharat Hasao. So tell me about that.
Bharat Hasao, Bharat Bachao आंदोलन.
Yes, why?
I really need we could use a laugh, don't you?
We do. I think Bharat has a very good sense of humor. We are surviving on sense of humor.
Only on sense of humor. अभी मैंने वीडियो देखा है which made me laugh so hard and I think चंडीगढ़ का ही था वो वीडियो कि वो भरी हुई सड़क है बिल्कुल मतलब पानी से और ये बंदा कोई हिंदी मूवी का गाना गा रहा है पंजाबी ट्विस्ट के साथ. I can't say the words on the interview but it was so funny. तो वो अपनी सिचुएशन की कॉमेडी बना ही ली ना.
So tell me about this tour. You know, you've been on the comic circuit for a long time now.
Right.
But whenever you go on stage and you present, you know, a gig, how like right you were saying कि jokes मेरे repeat नहीं होने चाहिए. How difficult, how challenging is it to come up with a new set every time?
I don't come up with a new set every time. We all work on a set for a very long time. So like this Ulta Palta, this is like my maybe 13th city with it, and each time the jokes just get sharper and better and karte it's like about an hour and 20 minutes long show. So obviously jahan kiya hai same show kiya hai, but once I release this then you start on new. I call the whole process boiling milk. इतना सारा लाओ फिर उसको तपाओ and then finally you have condensed
the cream of it. So you have a team of writers with you?
No, just
you.
Yeah.
How did this journey into comedy begin? Because you know, you come from a Fauji background, and you know, every Fauji aims to be a Fauji first,
yes,
and then maybe join the medical or engineering
yes,
line. How did you digress from all of this and get into advertising, and then from advertising jump to stand-up comedy?
Actually, I didn't digress. I wanted to be a Fauji, पर उस टाइम पे combat में नहीं ले रहे थे लड़कियाँ. No matter how short I cut my hair, they refused. So then I tried for AFMC. I sat for the exam and they shortlisted that day. That time they had some rule that they pulled out of how they will only accept X number of women in the medical code that year.
Okay.
तो उसमें भी नहीं हो पाया तो then करते करते मम्मा said तू writer है तू वही कर. I used to enjoy writing, so करते करते I got into advertising. And then I wrote for Gully Gully Sim Sim.
Yes,
we launched
Darshan.
Sesame Street.
Yes.
And comedy was like, वो बचपन से my dad has a great sense of humor. वो बचपन में नोक झोंक वो सब था घर पे. And I used to love watching Whose Line Is It Anyway.
Yeah, me too.
So you know what I'm talking about.
Brilliant it was.
So Colin Mockery and Brad Sherwood came to India for the first time. And they had a show in Delhi which I went for. And you know how they take volunteers from the audience.
Did you hustle for the ticket? Did you fight for it, because it must have been a sold out show?
Corporates पे आ गई थी मैं.
Okay.
I had people get ticket for me.
Okay, good.
I know people. So basically, Delhi में pool के बिना काम नहीं होता. So basically, I was volunteering for a round and I did this sound effects round. You know where you make sound effects for, they are making a story up on stage and you provide sound effects. तो उसमें मैं मस्ती करने लग गई and I had such a ball that Colin Mockery told me you should try stand up.
Okay.
एंड उस टाइम पे तो मुझे पता भी नहीं था इंडिया में होती है स्टैंड अप एंड ऑल एंड चीज मंकी माफिया वाज द आउटफिट मेकिंग लाइक रनिंग रूम्स or one room at that time and they approached me after the show
Okay.
saying come try it out see what we do पहुंच गई मैं it was a छोटा cafe in GK
But were there people in the comedy circuit at that time doing stand up? There must have been some men. Were there women also?
No
We've seen
women.
Hindi films have basically made caricatures out of people. You know, they'll be maybe people remember Tun Tun. Okay, she was the comedy epitome of comedy, which she wasn't, or Manorma,
Yeah.
and with that faces and everything. After that, I don't think so. Anybody stretched out that much. But how did you sort of when you went to that room? You know, you size up the room.
right
So who were the guys? Who were the girls?
there were no
Right there on the stage.
there were no female comics there were only male comics
So this guy took a chance on you then.
so it wasn't a paid gig it was we
Okay.
were all trying chota mota 5 minutes on stage kind of
Okay.
a thing and it wasn't paid you used to get like one beer for showing up that was my first salary in comedy one beer
Okay.
not even chilled so
Flat beer.
flat nahi thi flat but chilled nahi thi
Okay.
so I remember फर्स्ट गिग आई डिड 5 मिनट्स जो किए थे तो बहुत ही अच्छे गए थे तो मुझे लगा अरे ये तो सेकंड गिग आई डिड ऐसे मुंह के बल गिरी लाइक नोबडी लाफ्ड एंड लाइक ऑल कॉमिक्स आई ब्लेम द ऑडियंस कि ये बकवास है
इनको समझ नहीं आया.
हाँ so now when somebody says I actually wish failure upon people in their first gig so that second में they work harder and come back वो जो swag लेके आएंगे ना वो बड़ी जल्दी चॉप होता है it takes a lot of time
When was the turning point? That
turning
that
point
Neeti has
was-
arrived.
arrived तो पता नहीं but I remember so for me it was writer by day comedian by night Superman situation happening and then suddenly someone approached me at the cafe and offered me money so I'm like what and I still the client was Valentine's and they said we have this whatever corporate get together happening at this retreat so the Raghav Mandava was the guy who used to run Cheese Monkey Mafia he's also comic उसको बुलाया मुझे बुलाया और एक और comedian को बुलाया from the lineup who used to sing funny songs on the guitar so the three of us are looking at each other they want to pay us to do this like what and that was I think for me the first time I realized that I could earn money from this it wasn't a lot of money frankly but उस time पे यार पैसे मिल रहे
See,
थे
money had value then. It doesn't have value now. The value is just
the amount I was given then did not have value let me not brag so that I would imagine would be the turning
But still, there was this value attached to it, and you thought, okay, that means I have some potential.
yeah they were so supportive I remember getting up on stage तब तक I was full confident but here I'm getting paid so suddenly from like a hobby it's a profession so I remember getting on stage and I was like oh my God I did my bit I didn't stutter I didn't falter but I was so nervous and they were such a supportive audience corporates should be like that now अब पता नहीं क्या हो गया उन्हें
So we'll come to the audience later, but वो जो दौर था कितनी ग्लास सीलिंग्स तोड़नी पड़ी लाइक झांसी की रानी बनना पड़ा टू शो दैट यू नो women can be funny because I know I can joke around with my friends but when you're on stage you're like there's this proverbial invisible लक्ष्मण रेखा that हम नहीं क्रॉस कर सकते अरे लड़कियों के ऐसे बोल सकते हो तुम यू नो
वो तो बाद में आई रेखा पहले ही होता था क्योंकि लाइनअप ही होता था देयर वर ऑलवेज सेवरल आर्टिस्ट्स तो इनएविटेबली लोग सोचते थे कि मैं एमसी हूँ I'm talking about EMC
Yes.
like you know like and they would say आप भी अच्छे थे funny थे आप भी joke वोक try कर लो मैं कहा की तो थी so then I'm realizing कि हो क्या रहा है and I realized क्योंकि मैं अकेली लड़की थी they used to assume that I was the master of ceremonies the MC and then धीरे धीरे and honestly touchwood मैंने green room में कभी sexism face नहीं किया क्योंकि हम सारे like Amit Tandon and I we all started out together and they were all very decent people
It also evolved at some level.
yeah plus I had several professions तो मतलब I wasn't like a क्या हो रहा है आसपास and all that I was aware and somewhere we were all struggling ना तो कौन किस पे तड़ी जमाएगा and then I remember going on stage and honestly I would like to say that I didn't believe that my gender would have would be a stumbling block but it was painfully so it was because you would hear them laughing एक comic, and then you're rearing to go on stage, and then you would go, and then there'd be sudden pin drop silence, and then they would take literally 4 to 5 minutes to just get over your gender. वो top to bottom scrutiny, कौन है, क्या है, लड़की है, then अरे अरे मुंह से कुछ निकल रहा है, अच्छा कुछ बोल रही है, अच्छा अच्छा जोक मार रही है. Then when I'd get off stage, when people started listening, inevitably male comics used to be told, oh, you were really funny. And I used to be told, you were really bold. I'm like, funny थी यार, ये bold क्या होता है? Then they were well-meaning. They weren't putting me down. They meant it as a compliment that being a girl, you're really bold to get on stage and crack jokes. But you get the difference,
Yes.
right?
Have you
So,
seen Marvelous Mrs. Maisel?
I have seen.
So
Marvelous
did it
Mrs.
resonate
Maisel.
somewhere?
It resonated tremendously this last season where she wasn't getting opportunities, or you know, she had to face so much more on the work front. But I want to register a strong protest कि ऐसा बिल्कुल नहीं होता guys. ऐसा बिल्कुल नहीं होता कि मैं अभी इमोशनल हूँ, स्टेज पे गई और ब्लू बोला और फनी हो गए. इतना ईजी नहीं होता, ठीक है? हम लिखते हैं, रिहर्स करते हैं, रोते हैं, तब जाके कुछ निकलता है.
Is there a handbook for comics now?
For doing what?
There's a playbook, there's a handbook that, you know, this is the prep tools.
Everyone has a different
Because अभी
pep
कुछ
tool.
भी phone पे anybody doesn't say, oh, I'm a comic, मैं भी joke track कर सकता हूँ.
सभी लोग कॉमिक हैं अब तो, यही तो स्यापा है.
You know, because when I was speaking with Atul Khatri, so one thing he pointed out, he says our race is not with other comics, our race is with WhatsApp. वो joke पहले पहुंच जाता
I
है.
swear, you know, so many times what happens is, and this has happened with me. मैंने कुछ tweet किया था, and वो किसी ने rip off करके WhatsApp जोक बना दिया, and मैंने ऐसी मस्ती में एक दिन बात करने में स्टेज पे वो जोक बोल दिया और मुझे कोई बोल रहा है ये तो WhatsApp जोक है. So like, नहीं ये तो मेरा जोक था, ये WhatsApp में कब गया? And now people come to your shows, कौन किसको क्या जोक पसंद आए, WhatsApp डाल दिया, meme बना दिया, and suddenly you are the joke stealer. I'm like, no, but I made this joke.
So how do you bifurcate, how do you filter, collect your material and make sure, you know, there's a lot of fact checking also. So how is that process? Because this is becoming challenging with every day, with the regimes that we have, with the censorship we have,
Right.
with the ये नहीं शो चलेगा वाले लोग जो इकट्ठे हो जाते हैं.
Correct.
है ना, उस सब को आप कैसे झेलते हो? And the gender constructs also.
थोड़ा मतलब honestly पहले जब हमने कॉमेडी करना शुरू किया कोई रूल्स ही नहीं थे. धीरे धीरे रूल्स आने शुरू हुए, तो हमें अच्छा ये नहीं करना है, अच्छा ये नहीं करना है. एंड मोस्ट इम्पॉर्टेंटली फॉरगेट एवरी अदर रूल, द ऑडियंस टेल्स यू. यू नो, अगर हंसते हैं तो ठीक है, नहीं हंसते तो आप खुद अगली बार नहीं करोगे. It's as simple as that. But yes, there are certain rules in place. It depends on which platform you're going on, right? Like if you're going to an OTT, they'll have their set of rules. If you're doing a corporate show, they'll have nothing religious, nothing political, nothing below the belt. ये standard corporate brief है ही है. So every time I get on a con call with them to ask them for a brief, ये 3 चीज़ें पहले मैं खुद ही बोल देती हूँ, वो हंसने लग जाते हैं, बोलते फिर आपको तो पता ही, आप कर लो फिर. So every platform has its individual set of rules. अभी ये कि legally what is allowed is still honestly very muddy. Religion obviously nobody touches or shouldn't touch because it's very easy to file a hurt religious sentiment claim. And so अब क्या पता ना कौन
Is the
कहाँ.
audience also touchy? Like you've been to so many cities across India.
Not really,
With
but
the best audience.
honestly for me best audience has been Bangalore and Chandigarh. Chandigarh, extremely warm. I'm not saying it just because I'm in Chandigarh. Extremely warm and giving. Very, मतलब they are there to laugh. वो तो they're raring कि कुछ बोल हम हंसें. Like वो इतने खुशखाश आते हैं.
हमारी भड़ास निकालो.
And Bangalore gets comedy, man. They get subtle comedy,
that-
or they get me is
Even
what I'd
Atul
like
said
to
that,
believe.
very cerebral.
हाँ,
They
वो
understand.
वो हाँ, आप आधा सेंटेंस छोड़ दो ना तो उतने में भी वो oh they catch it
They
like
enjoy
that.
the drink and the joke.
Yeah. And they love a little bit of a challenge. So and I like to believe I love those jokes that I deliver जिसमें audience को 1 second लगता है. They're like, oh ये बोला, you know that.
Where does your comic wit come from? You know, because you've been advertising. Is
Right.
brevity the soul of wit? Is it truly?
Brevity is very important to it, but then you also have like a Zakir Khan telling a story, right? And but उसकी story ही the way he'll say it, like the leza, उस हर चीज़ में कुछ होगा, हर sentence में आप 6 चीज़ें take away करके जाओगे. So, but yeah, if I say the same joke, meander, the fastest way to get to a punchline is what makes a great joke.
So, where do you get inspired from? Do you get inspired from fellow comics, from books? Like observational comedy होती है, there's political observations. There is observation taken from the life. Your family is already ready-made jokes.
Always.
So, where are your inspirations or thoughts triggering from, or sprouting from?
Literally, I know it's a boring answer, but from life.
From
And from the scars that you've got from bachpan. And कहीं ना कहीं से, like I remember when I started doing comedy, मैंने jokes करनी शुरू की, and I've been a tomboy all my life. I've had a fairly happy childhood, and suddenly I had all these what people like to categorize male bashing jokes. I'm like, bash क्यों कर रही हूँ, ये तो मेरे best friends हैं. And obviously kahin na kahin over a period of time that inequality, the preferential treatment, the unfairness kahin na kahin wo sink in rahi hoegi, to kahin na kahin niklegi na suppress hoke. So then you turn into psychoanalyzing yourself. So all of us start off with the most basic, most easy of jokes, low hanging fruit. And now if you see at least all the comics that I've grown up with, everyone is digging deeper and deeper into their mind, into their lives, into their psyche, into their experiences, and those are the jokes they're presenting.
So, how did your parents take to it? I read somewhere that, initial wo tha, there was resistance.
I will quote my father. First sentence was, तुम writer हो, ये भांडपंदी मत करो.
Okay.
So then I had to first go look up भांडपंदी. Then I came back and said, at least tell me in a language I understand. You can't do all this. So in his head, comedy was कि मैं घाघरा चोली पहन के हे करूँ. वो जो देखा था वही. तो I remember India Habitat Center, Stein Auditorium, very respectable venue. वहाँ पे मैंने show किया था, Abish and Friends. And that's the first time my parents saw me on stage, saw what I do. And I also remember there was one Siddhar family who came to me after the show. And out of the 3 comics, they came to me. And they said, we brought Papaji along. And Papaji was some 3,000 old Siddharji, 3,000 years old Siddharji, very ऐसे बड़ी flowing beard and one of those. And they said कि ये ना बड़े, he's going through stuff and all, हम इनका मन हल्का करने लाए थे. और आज ये पहली बार हंसे हैं. तो I was like wow, and my dad was listening, and पापा जी ने अपने ना ऐसे हाथ से मेरे को आशीर्वाद दिया. मेरे को अभी भी goosebumps आते थे. So my dad was so proud and all. Then धीरे धीरे he started saying, अच्छा ये करते हो, अच्छा ठीक है.
A lot of comics crack jokes about their wives.
Yeah.
Do you crack joke about your husband?
Tonight I shall.
Okay.
Because he told me, and ये please मेरी गलती नहीं है. He told me no one knows you are married because you only do jokes about your parents.
Okay.
तो मैं कहा भाई ये तो आपने उड़ता तीर पकड़ लिया है. So now I walk around, follow him around the house with copy and pencil saying yeah, piss me off. Yes, tell me what. Just so I can convert them into jokes.
So I was reading a lot about you, and this Wiki bio, and on Wiki bio is that this is very interesting thing, and I wrote it down also.
Often seen with a drink in
Yes,
her hand.
I was. Why do they do that on it? And they've also written that she has tattoos. On which side also they've written?
Really?
On the left leg and on the upper left back, and they have a picture also of it.
And the ankle, they missed one.
And
but
the ankle.
wow, this is crazy.
This is so with a drink.
Firstly, I didn't know I had a Wikipedia page, and then some of
Wiki bio. This is Wiki bio. This is separate from Wikipedia.
I have no idea. All I know is people started sending me screenshots, often seen with a drink in her hand.
And there's a photograph. and the best part is you're in a suit.
हाँ वो दिवाली पे था ना. तो देखो ऐसा है, I enjoy my drink and I'm not shy about it. I enjoy my drink. I've grown up. I started drinking at a late age. I'm allowed, yeah. मैं अपने पैसे की पीती हूँ.
And so Neeti Palta is also called a cheeky girl.
Yes.
Almost sanskari cheeky girl.
Yes.
Are the other female comics these days like that? Because you I think they look up to.
I would like to believe, but I doubt it.
But there are a lot of them now.
Yeah.
So has the gates opened
the gates have opened, and look at the talent, and each one has their own style.
From here, yeah.
Sorry? Gurleen, she's my heart. Yeah. तो Gurleen अलग लेवल की, उसकी कॉमेडी स्टाइल अलग है.
Yes.
You have प्रशस्ति जो बिल्कुल ही पागल औरत है, क्या कर रही है, amazing comedian. You have Shrija who has her own style.
Yes.
You have Uruj Ashfaq, very intelligent, very clever, very fun comedy. And there's a vulnerability to her that instantly makes you like her or fall in love with her. There's Sumukhi who is, man, she is selling out auditoriums. Yes. She's full of verve, energy. And Sumukhi was always a performer first. And now it gives me so much joy to see that her writing has become so strong.
Yes.
So yeah, I mean all of them.
all of them. But you don't get insecure or anything at any point that, oh God, oh, the tribe is increasing, that's good.
देखो, how do I put this now?
Or
एक रोड पे एक बंदा ढाबा लगाता है, ठीक है, वहाँ पे कुछ लोग रुकते हैं. उसी रोड पे जब 6 ढाबे लग जाते हैं तो ज़्यादा गाड़ियाँ रुकना शुरू करती हैं. So I'd like to believe the more of us there are, the better it is.
so, back to advertising days. Were you the one behind the line? ये रही Pepsi, ये रहा glass.
Oh God, yeah. ये रहा नहीं, ये रहा.
ये रहा.
ये कहाँ से मिला आपको?
ये भी मिला. And if I'm not wrong, Nestle की Munch जो chocolate है, Munch is your, you christened it as Munch.
I named
So
Munch.
we are in esteemed company. Cool. So you never wanted to go back to advertising?
Well,
you've given iconic.
I think I quit
contribution.
advertising at just the right time. You know, there was still advertising. I don't know अब क्या scene है, whether it's fair or not, but my experience when I quit was that client would come and tell us मुझे ये चाहिए, ये चाहिए, ये चाहिए, which is your brief, right? If you go to a doctor, you say मुझे यहाँ दर्द है, आप check करके, you're the expert, right? You don't go and tell the doctor मुझे यहाँ दर्द है, ये वाली दवाई दो. तो फिर डॉक्टर का क्या काम रह गया? तो ये एडवर्टाइजिंग में अब यही हो गया था.
डॉक्टर गूगल.
मैं तो जोक यही करती, मैंने क्लाइंट को लास्ट टाइम यही कहा था while quitting. I said आप 2 काम बहुत अच्छा करते हो, अपना और मेरा, तो आप ही करो.
Lot of clients behave like that, but Google said this.
What?
I said then go to Google and get it done.
Man, Google, according
Now
to Google,
ChatGPT is taking over.
You open Google and first thing it will tell you is you're dying. It will convince you कि आपके जो symptoms हैं,
it's cancer.
आप ऐसा करो जी, will लिखो और लेट जाओ.
Even if you have like little bit flatulence, it is cancer.
हाँ, बस आप खत्म हो रहे हो.
Yes, so that the doctors are really pulling their hair out over that one. Right. And Looney Goons, are you still running that outfit?
No.
Comedy outfit?
Looney Goons honestly was a very selfish endeavor because I wanted to earn some money, but most importantly, that was my access to the other comics. So this is the first time someone did paid comedy gigs in Delhi. That was me, and I got, like, I would fly comedians down from Bombay, Bangalore, and they would perform, and obviously we'd become friends, and I would get to watch them.
So apart from comedy, you're also a writer, screenwriter, freelance writer. You wrote O Teri. Are you writing any more films or scripts or anything, OTT web series?
I have
of a gang of girls who become comics.
I actually should apply myself more, I know, but I have half finished bits everywhere. So देखते हैं. अभी तो I'm writing another comedy show apart from Ulta Palta, which will have all my dark jokes in it.
Okay.
Most likely it's going to be called Wicked.
And what does Neeti actually do at home? You know, a lot of comedians, they channel something from within and then they write.
Right.
Can be angst, can be anger, can be frustration, can be pure humor.
Right.
Can be some kind of baggage that they're carrying.
Right.
What does Neeti channelize and what does she do otherwise at home?
I do nothing actually. I'm totally de-glamorizing myself, if there was glamour associated in the first place. I work out, I play with my dogs the whole day, and that's pretty much it. Agar idea aa gayi to likh leti hu, but now I'm like, I will regularly sit down 1 or 2 hours and write.
So what do you channel?
Stream of consciousness, whatever is going through. I actually now have stopped watching the news because अब वो news तो रही नहीं है. But otherwise, you know, you'd pick up a newspaper, you'd read that. कुछ ना कुछ would trigger something. I feel very strongly about things, and the things whatever's hit you most, you end up writing about. You have to get it out of you, right?
Yes.
So a lot of that happens then.
Any book in the offing?
No. अरे इतनी commitment कौन देगा? Tattoos is commitment enough.
Any new tattoos that we should add to Fiki bio?
Plans बन रहे हैं, but मम्मी छितर मारेगी बहुत सारे.
भारत हसाओ आंदोलन जो आपका शुरू हुआ है,
हाँ जी.
ये कब तक चलेगा?
ये अब मैंने 2-3 cities और जोड़ दी हैं इसमें. जब तक मेरे टाइमलाइन पे डिमांड्स आती रहेंगी कि यहाँ आ जाओ, यहाँ आ जाओ. And I'll probably put up a little this thing कि कितने लोग pledge करते हैं कि मैं टिकट खरीदूंगी, नहीं तो मैं मतलब प्लेन की टिकट कटा के आऊँ, लगता है मेरी शर्ट ही बिक जाएगी कि लोग ही 3 आए हुए हैं. तो बट ये चलता रहेगा. If not Ulta Palta, then Wicked. If not Wicked, then something, because I'm in love with comedy and there is no high which is better than making someone laugh.
On that note, we'll take a break over here from Neeti Palta. And all the best for your show today.
Thank you so much.
Nice to have you in Chandigarh again.
Thank you so much, Zakir.